one of these new clients recently said, it's it's too bad that we don't learn this stuff in elementary school. And she's right. We don't learn that we are eternal beings who are creating our own reality. And as a result of creating our own reality, we are able to create any reality we want simply by lining up with the power of the universe, which we have constantly showering us with everything we desire. We don't learn that in school. Welcome to the Raw Blog. It's Friday, September 19th, 0900. That's 9 a.m. for you civilians. It's been a very interesting couple of weeks. I didn't include this, I don't believe, in last week because of the timing. But this last week, I had an interesting unfolding with a client, a long-term client who's been with me for almost 7 years. He decided he wanted to go on his own and try to do the positively focused practice on his own. It's not something I recommend until someone has reached mastery level. And this particular client struggles with certain vibrational frequencies. The ordinary term would be arrogance, hubris. And so 4.5 years ago, he left the practice under the same conditions, thinking that he could do the practice better on his own. And then he came back after 1.5 years and then went 4.5 more years before deciding last Sunday that he wanted to try doing it alone again, especially after having 2 really powerfully positive dreams that he interpreted as the opposite of that, powerfully negative dreams. One had to do with a very strong desire he has to be with a particular person. And this is really common. There are a lot of people who are trying to use the law of attraction to draw back a lover they once had. I'm on a Reddit group, a law of attraction Reddit group, where people often ask how they can use law of attraction to draw back their lover. Well, this client, this positively focused client, has the same intention. And the interesting thing about it is, I will include a Worthiness Wednesday blog, a video that covers this in more detail. But the interesting thing about it is, when he does the practice the way it's prescribed, he can feel himself not only drawing this former lover of his back to him, but he can also feel that he's a match to that probable future reality. But when he doesn't do the practice, which is usually the case, because he thinks he knows how to do the practice, and yet he doesn't do it, he can feel himself becoming less of a match to that relationship he wants. And so he has a really great sensitivity to being able to perceive where he is with regard to that desire. But he doesn't use that indicator to move him closer to the desire. And there's a really good reason why he doesn't do that. And that's because he is constantly condemning his father. Now, in the Worthiness Wednesday video that I'll create this week, which will come out on Wednesday, I'm going to talk in great detail about this. But to keep it short, what happened this past week is he had these 2 dreams. The first dream was extremely powerful, showing him how he's condemning his father. And as a result of condemning his father, this is in his unconscious, what clinicians would describe as his unconscious state, what we describe in the positively focused as his oblivious state. So in his oblivious state, he's oblivious to the fact that he's doing this at the vibrational level. He's condemning his father. And as a result of condemning his father, he's creating his life perfectly as a perfect match to the way his father lived his life. And so this first dream showed him that. And it was so negative in his interpretation. He woke from it feeling like it was a nightmare, but it wasn't a nightmare. Then in the second dream was similar to the first dream in the sense that it showed him where he was relative to this lover. And essentially, the dream was showing how he was taking revenge on this woman by approaching her current partner and telling him all the terrible things about her. I'll tell more about the details of this dream in the Worthiness Wednesday episode video. But he woke from this dream feeling completely defeated. And so the combination of the two dreams, the one that showed him how he was condemning his father, and as a result of condemning his father, he was becoming a match to the way his father lived his life, and this other dream, which had him realizing where he was relative to the probable future reality in which he rendezvous with this lover again, which the dream showed him he's nowhere near that. He came out of both of those experiences feeling extremely negative. I would say even pessimistic that he could accomplish what he's wanting to accomplish, and doubtful of it. And that doubt extended to his belief in the practice and his belief in me. And so he began questioning some of the big things that I'm up to, like shape-shifting, my alternate dimension travels, and some of the material manifestations I'm focusing into my physical reality. This is exactly where he ended up 5 years ago or so, when after 3 years of practice, he believed he could do the practice better than I was telling him. The difference is, now everyone's on an ascension spiral. So he's spiraling up, he's expanding, but he has to go through his negative momentum. Again, I'm going to describe this in much more detail in the Worthiness Wednesday episode, but suffice it to say that when he first left the practice, he was angry, really angry. But this time, this last week when he left the practice, he was much more calm about where he was, even though he was very negative in terms of his believability that he could do the practice, and his believability in the practice, and his believability that I'm doing the practice or creating what I'm wanting. And so he has expanded even in the state of this wanting to no longer do the practice with me. He's expanding, but he's still in a negative space relative to what he's wanting. So when he decided to leave, it hit me pretty hard. It hit me hard because I put a lot of my intention and focus into assisting people in connecting with their broader perspective and living lives they love. And one of the reasons why I'm so effective is because I'm so committed to this outcome for others. And so when he left, it really shook me. It hit me hard because I had invested yet again another 4.5 years working with him to have him move into more empowering places. And he saw evidence of it, but just could not hold on to it enough to stay in the practice. But what happened to me was his departure confronted me with this choice. It's like, do I continue to put my energy into people who are unwilling to do the practice the way it's prescribed, or do I free myself up to enable more capacity to serve people who are open to, coachable around, and eager to dive in to the practice the way it's prescribed? And this was the silver lining in this wonderful dark cloud represented by his departure. I saw that I was spinning my wheels with regard to assisting him in doing the practice. After all, the practice is only effective if you do it. If you don't do it the way it's prescribed, it doesn't produce the results. And the paradox is, when he did the practice, he produced the results. And so the question I had to ask myself in his departure was, what was the value I was really giving him? What was the value I was really giving him? And could I give that value to others? And as a result of giving it to others who are eager, have them ascend on their ascension spiral more effectively than this client was. So in this last week, I've been calibrating to that. Now, here's the thing, right? So being positive is something we have to focus on every moment, because physical reality is constantly confronting us with contrast, things that we don't like. And it is those things that we don't like that are actually positive because they enable us to expand into greater levels of awareness that allow us to receive everything that we do like. And so this departure of this client was a positive thing in the sense that it had me realize, this is so good. I know I say that a lot. Had me realize where I was putting my energy and where it might be more effective to put my energy. Paradoxically enough, in a beneficial way, since in the last 2 or 3 months or so, 2 more clients have come forward who are super eager, brand new clients, who are super eager to engage with the practice. And so his departure has no impact on me financially, which is something I'm not really worried about. But what I am wanting to focus on is delivering this practice to people who are eager to consume it because they're excited about what they're getting from it. And these 2 new clients are evidence of that. So this is the thing. And when he left 4.5 years ago or so, the same thing happened. 3 new clients showed up after he had departed. And each of those clients are continuing to practice with me. So is his departure a bad thing? As far as he's concerned, it's a good thing because now he's trying to do it on his own. I don't think he's going to be successful. As far as I'm concerned, it is a good thing because it showed me that it is much more effective, it's much more beneficial for me to work with people who are eager for what I have to offer and who are a better match to what I offer. And what's really interesting about this experience is just prior to his decision to leave, I had a series of dreams that were showing me how I was preparing for aligning with the probable future reality that became mine now last Sunday when he decided he no longer wanted to do the practice. And this is a client recently, one of these new clients recently said, it's too bad that we don't learn this stuff in elementary school. And she's right. We don't learn that we are eternal beings who are creating our own reality. And as a result of creating our own reality, we are able to create any reality we want simply by lining up with the power of the universe, which we have constantly showering us with everything we desire. We don't learn that in school. And the wonderful thing about this is there is opportunity for everyone to develop lives they love. But in order to do that, you have to know where that life that you love is coming from. And it's coming from non-physical. And this is the huge benefit of dreams. Dreams offer so much insight and clarity to what is coming, to what is where you're at relative to what you want, how to better leverage the power of the universe to get what you want. These dreams that I had prior to this client leaving clued me in that that was going to happen. And the dreams he had clued him in as to the 2 most important things in his life and how to make those things align more with what he wants. And the difference between him and I, the difference between mastery and something else, is that I leaned into what the dreams were showing me and embraced positively the manifestation of his departure, recognizing it as a good thing, whereas he saw his dreams as nightmares that left him pessimistic and doubtful and defeated. This is the difference when you are in a state of mastery around how the universe works. The underlying spiritual principles which shape how physical reality works, you become unstoppable. unstoppable, sovereign, powerful, exactly what you are, non-physical, the creator of all that is. So it's been a good week. There's been some calibration on my part, calibrating to the good news of this client's departure, while also focusing on all that is flowing into my experience, which is offering delightful opportunities to engage with technology and artificial intelligence. In fact, there was a video I watched on YouTube that announced a collaboration between Google and Coinbase with regard to developing an AI agent marketplace that has me really excited. I woke up from dreams this morning and received a wonderful impulse around how I can engage with that opportunity. There are, you guys, this is the thing. Many people, I'm sure, are looking at Bitcoin at $116,000 a coin right now, or somewhere around there, and are going, God, I wish I got into that when it was nothing, when it was like pennies or $1 or less. Many people look at Apple and wish they had bought stock when Apple was just starting out. Same thing with Tesla, same thing with Google. But the thing is, when you're looking at the things you've missed, you miss the opportunities that are the current version of those opportunities. And there are these kind of opportunities happening all the time. You cannot miss the boat. You cannot miss the ship sailing. You just have to be looking in the direction of where the ships are. And so this Coinbase Google collaboration is yet another opportunity to get in really early on something that has tremendous potential. I'm going to do it. If you're interested in finding out more, I'll link to the video, Wes Roth's video that talks about this. It's another great opportunity. I believe it's an opportunity that 5 years from, just like Wes Roth says in his video, in 5 years from now, people are going to be kicking themselves, wondering why they didn't get in early on this. So, not trying to create fear of missing out, just saying, because you can't miss out. There's always another opportunity. That's the way expansion works. That's the way spirituality works. There's always more. I love knowing that. All right. That's it for today's journal entry. Happy Friday. Enjoy your weekend. See you in the comments or see you in the next video.